Hello, my fabulous makeup loving friends. I hope you have had a fantastic week and are really enjoying your weekend. My name is Teresa. I love all things makeup, beauty and skincare, and over on this channel every weekend I talk about the new makeup releases that you and I both found really interesting. The thing is, I have you guys tagging me over on Instagram for new releases that you guys want me to talk about, so I'm going to show the names of the fabulous people who have contributed to this episode. I am so thankful for you guys. But I also have to say a massive thank you to my YouTube community members. There are no words. I truly appreciate it. But there have been quite a few new releases this week, and I know I haven't been as good with uploading. Naughty me. But hey, you know the drill. You have a life, I have a life, we all have a life. Sometimes things get in the way, but I still wanted to give you this week's new makeup releases update. And one of the first things that we wanted to talk about was the Oden's Eye Legendary Diversa 2 collection. It's the second collection that is a collaboration between Oden's Eye and three specific influencers called Annette's Makeup Corner, Judy and Fancy Face. If you don't know them, I would highly recommend going and checking out their content. They're extremely talented and they each have their own collection within this rather large collection. There's Mighty Monster, which is Annette's, Spring Dragon, which is Judy's, and Earthwood, which is Fancy Faces. Each of those palettes are $36.90 each. Each of their collections also has 3 lip products, so they're either lip stains or they're lip glosses, and they're $13.90 each. Now you can get obviously the entire bundle together for $200.43. So here's the thing, right? When I'm looking over at Oden's Eye, this is all available, by the way, at the moment. When I was looking at their pictures of the palettes, they looked really washed out. They have a little bit of a tendency to do a colour pop and kind of wash out the saturation of the pictures, so you don't get a good idea as to what the full vibrancy of the collection is. So I have to say a massive thank you to Annette's Makeup Corner, who actually put together pictures on this, and I think this is really telling as to what it all looks like together. And I have to say, part of what really impresses me about this is that each of these mini collections within this larger collection is extremely cohesive and well put together. However, when you see them all interrelated, you can also see how they cohere together and don't dupe each other. Now that's quite the feat. It's an awful lot of work to do a collaboration between an influencer and a brand anyways. There's a lot of back and forth as to whether, you know, you like this formula or you want this or you want that. But you have to collaborate not just with those influencers, but have those influencers kind of discuss things with each other and make sure that they're not stepping on each other's toes and that there's no kind of crossover in that sense. Not only is there no crossover on this, there is actually a really good cohesive nature to this. I could see how each of these palettes could be used to very much complement each other, and I think that's quite the feat to do that. Like, we obviously don't see the background of all of the stuff that goes into these collaborations, but in my mind this was something that took a lot of time and was very well put together. So I wanted to talk about Annette's Mighty Monster palette, and this particular one has 7 mattes, 4 shimmers and 1 multi-chrome. And let's just talk about the outside of the palette. Absolutely stunning, so cute. This is kind of a given with Oden's Eye. All of the outside of their packaging always looks incredibly artistic, very pretty. The shades are really interesting. As I said before, there's bits of this that reminds me a little bit of the Pure Cosmetics collaboration with Raw Beauty, and I think this is a really great one to kind of dupe that. And I don't know much about Pure, I've never actually tried them, but I'm familiar with Oden's Eye formula and I personally quite like it. I think this is done extremely well. It looks so beautiful. The shades are really complementary. It's beautiful. She also has her lip products as well. So in hers there's 1 lip gloss and there's 2 lip stains, and the lip stains are kind of like a little bit glowy as well. They're not like a matte finish, there's a bit of a high shine to them. These look very pretty. I have to say the lip gloss is a little bit more my jam. Apparently I'm getting into that phase of my life. Who would have thought it? All put together really nicely. Then the next one that we have is of course a Fancy Faces collaboration. It's the Earthwood palette. That has 7 mattes, 3 shimmers and 1 multi-chrome. And this is, again, you can see how this complements Annette's palette quite well. I would say that this is, on the surface of it, when you look at it, you kind of go, oh, this looks really bright, but there's a little bit of murkiness, a little bit of grunginess to this that I wasn't quite expecting when I was looking at the swatches. But I have to say, it tickles my pickle. I really think it's very pretty. There's something about it that kind of is giving me, you know, Anastasia Beverly Hills Nouveau. Remember that palette? I think it's maybe that like lavender purple in there. Very, very pretty. Again, $36.90, not bad at all. Again, she has 3 lip products as part of her launch as well. And as with Annette's Makeup Corner, she has 1 lip gloss and 2 lip stains. Those lip stains are, again, very high shine as well. And what I like about this is they complement the lip products that come from Annette's, but they aren't a dupe either. You can see how there's like slightly different undertones to them. I just think it's done very, very well. And like, I don't know what you guys think, but $13.90 is not bad for an indie brand in terms of a lip product. I'm pretty impressed with that. And then the final part of the collaboration is Judy's Spring Dragon. So the palette itself has 7 mattes, 4 shimmers and 1 metallic. So they're the only palette as part of the collab that has no multi-chrome. However, I think this is a really interesting color story because, I mean, it's so pastel, and pastels are so hard to get right, but this seems, based upon the swatches, to be really hitting that vibe. It's just really, really pretty. I mean, what else can I say about that? Again, I could see how I could use this in connection with the other palettes that are coming out as part of this collaboration. You know, you could use some of the pastel greens, blues, etc. to blend out some of the shades that are in Fancy Faces and Annette's palettes. I think this is so incredibly cohesive, so pretty. She again has her 3 lip products, but actually she has no lip glosses. What she's gone for is 3 lip stains, but one of them is matte and the other 2 are the high shine. So she's the only one that, as part of it, has gone for something a little bit different. I actually think that's quite interesting that if you look at each of these, Judy's is probably the most different in the sense that she didn't go with a multi-chrome, she didn't go with a lip gloss. You know, she kind of really did her own thing. And yet, when I see all of these things together, it's extremely cohesive. You know, I can see this is from Oden's eye, but then I can also see that these respective collections come from these influencers. It's very clearly from their mind, and yet they all link in together. Like, that's so much work. So kudos to them. I think they did extremely well. As I said, this is available right now, and Annette very kindly actually commented on my YouTube. I mean, I'm going to be honest, I'm as surprised as you are, and I was kind of speculating as to whether or not it was going to be limited edition, because I mean, you know the story, lads. We all get FOMO, and then we kind of put ourselves into a tricky position of kind of going, oh, will I move around finances, etc. But I really appreciate that apparently this is going to be in stock for at least the next 6 months. And if there's still a demand for it after the 6 months, it'll still be in stock. Basically, it's one of those ones that they're like, we'll keep it in stock for as long as people want it, and once the demand is no longer there, we're going to get rid of it. And I'm like, that is smart. I think that is brilliant. And I've said this before, it also shows a huge confidence in the in the products themselves. Because if you've made something limited edition, you're like, well, it doesn't matter if the reviews come back and they're trash because everything is sold anyways. But if you are letting a product be there in not perpetuity, but for quite some time, you know that the reviews are going to be quite important for your selling for later on, because you could have another 1,000 units that are still in your warehouse being ready to go. So you're really banking on people enjoying them. But there's, again, a huge amount of confidence in that. And I think in general that confidence is very well placed because their products are really good quality. Now, I did actually manage to put this to you guys in my stories, and it actually did pretty darn well. So Judy's palette, the Spring Dragon, got 27% love it. 16% of you guys are on a no buy. Fancy Faces palette was probably the most popular with 32% loving it, and 22% of you liked Annette's palette as well. The lip products weren't as popular, but I mean, that's kind of par for the course. 15% of you loved Annette's one, 18% of you loved Judy's one, and 15% of you loved Fancy Faces one. And then this next release is kind of a, I don't want to say a strange one, like it makes sense in a way that it's filling up Beauty Bay's kind of gap in the market on this, but it's their Jelly Grip Hydrating Primer. It's available right now. It's £10, 30 mils. I mean, what else is there to say? When I was going through the ingredients, they do have niacinamide in it, so I guess that's pretty good. It's clear that they're trying to dupe some of the other gripping primers that are on the market, and if e.l.f. didn't already exist, I'd be like, okay, this is quite smart. But the thing is, e.l.f. does exist, so I'm like, okay, I don't know how successful this is actually going to be. I mean, mean, this is vegan and cruelty free and it's fragrance free, but you can say the exact same thing for Elle. So I don't know. I feel like Beauty Bay in general, like the thing that they are known for is their eyeshadow palettes, and we all lose our minds over that, rightly so. They are really, really good quality. But when it comes to everything else, and it's not that their stuff isn't good quality, but I think it's because it's not as thought out. Like their highlighters, their bronzers, their blushes, their lip liners, their lipsticks, they're all actually quite good. But they kind of do a line of them and then they run off. Like they had liquid blushes, was it 2 years ago? And then they never extended them. They had powder bronzers maybe 3 years ago and they never extended them. So I think what I would like to see Beauty Bay do is, rather than coming out with new products like this, because I can't really call them new because like it's not innovative, it's stuff that we've already seen before. I would actually like to see them take their existing lines and expand on them. Like those liquid blushes are quite interesting. Why not like add some extra shades in there? Why not look at those bronzers and maybe see about doing them in like a cream format or something like that? I think there's definitely room for improvement there. Like they've made a lot of like big claims along with this. Like they say that there's hyaluronic acid in it. Now the hyaluronic acid, I'm assuming that they're referring to is the sodium hyaluronate that's in the ingredient list. That's quite far down, which is grand. There's nothing wrong with that, because you don't need a lot of hyaluronic acid, otherwise it's like pulling a lot of moisture to like your outside skin, as opposed to your inside skin. You know what I mean. I had a very long week. Apparently it's a tacky but not sticky texture. I mean, it sounds okay. And I think if they'd come out with this maybe a year ago, I'd have been like, oh, okay. But I just feel like outside of eyeshadow palettes, they're a bit all over the place. Do you remember their lovely metallic eyeliners? They were so gorgeous. They came out with those, I'd say maybe 3.5 years ago, because I think it was during the pandemic. Oh my God. Yeah, it would have been. It would have been 3.5, maybe 4 years ago. Hard to believe. And they were so good. One of the shades was Peacock and its staying power was fabulous, and then they just left it there. And this is true of so many of Beauty Bay's products, that they just kind of fling something there. They don't even wait to see how it lands, and then they wander off into something else, which honest God, I really relate to, because my autistic self is like constantly starting projects and then just leaving a project there. So I'm like, Beauty Bay, I understand you, but from one slightly disorganized individual to another, can I please recommend that you maybe just sit down and organize this a little better? I think they're already kind of beaten to the post with Elf. Like, that's a really good price. It's a lot more accessible. Yeah, because like unless you're in the UK, I have to pay like shipping fees with Beauty Bay, and I'm like, I'm not going to pay €4. I could just go down to like Boots or Superdrug or whatever, because we have that in Ireland. We're fancy. But I'm like, I don't know. It feels very, very late to the party. And when I put it to you guys, 25% of you loved it, 27% said not for me, and 48% said that you were waiting for reviews, which I think is very, very smart. Oh my goodness, this next one. I have no words for how incredibly gorgeous this is. This is a very new brand. It's been around for less than a year. It's Dieverune Cosmetics. It is owned by Monica Jones, who, if you know her, she's over on Instagram. She's been on the platform for I don't even know how long, incredibly talented. And she came out with her Moth and the Moon palette not that long ago, and there were some beautiful pigmenty like crystal things. I can't even think of the word. I'm overly excited, you see, about this one. This is the Gloomy Gardens collection, and when I tell you this is my aesthetic, I love it. I love the way she's organized this. I also love that when I was over on the website, there's so many clear links with influencers that she's built up relationships with over the years, and it's my stupid little heart is just sitting there kind of going, this is a community, this is what this is all about. Like, she has Glam Smitty, Deandra Nicole, Brittany Huffman, Macro Makeup, obviously herself, there's Bad to the Brow, and there's Ellie Starr, who are all like giving photographs from the PR that she sent out, and I'm just like, this is beautiful. This is kind of like old school days of like people helping each other out, doing stuff for the love of it, and I'm like, this hits my stupid heart. I really, really like this. So I want to talk first about the palette itself. It's called Gloomy Gardens. €62.95, which, yeah, is definitely on the pricier end. However, we're getting 10 mattes and we're getting 5 duo or multi-chromes. So some are duochromes, some are multi-chromes. What I really appreciate about this is that there's color columns. The aesthetics of that is extremely pleasing to me. I love the murky green in there. I love that you have like your blending in shades. This is beautiful. Part of what I thought was really interesting about this as well is that if you looked at her first palette, which was the Moth and the Moon, really beautiful, she had kind of done this as well, where she had one row be all mattes and one row was all multi-chrome duochrome shimmers. And I love that this palette is very, very clearly linked in with this, that you could use the two in combination to make something really, really beautiful. I love it. Like, I don't really know what else to say about it other than, oh my goodness. And you know, I was looking at it first and I was like, yeah, it looks so pretty in the pictures. How lovely. And then, oh Jesus Christ, this is why I was saying, like, she's so smart to have worked with people that she knew as influencers, because look at these swatches. Tell me that, I mean, this will ruin my life. It's so beautiful. And you can really see kind of the color stories along here and how beautifully they correspond with each other. You have a little bit of the warmth of the greens, but there's also like a coolness to the greens. I'm very excited about this. I'm very sorry. And then the coolness of the purples and the greys and the black, and oh my god, it is just stunning. And I love that there's so much, like, for an indie brand, sorry, I get overly excited about this. For an indie brand, at the level that she's at, you have to remember this is her second, that's right, number two release. And so many brands do not show swatches across various skin tones. And we're just like, oh, okay, I guess I have to imagine what it'll look like on my skin tone. But she's got the diversity of skin tones in there. She's got diversity of application. I love it. There are no words. It just looks stunning. Everything about this is like a 10 out of 10. Like 5,000,000%, because I'm not on a no buy or a low buy or anything like that, because I find as soon as I say that I can't have something, then I want it even more. It's like, you know, when you're on a diet and you're like, I can't have cake, and then you end up eating an entire cake. That's not how my brain works. So I just find like I try and limit myself to at least some amount, or I have to like really justify why I want it. And this, I've had very very intrusive thoughts about it. And I'm like, I keep thinking about this. I really like this. But I'm waiting until payday and I'm hoping it will still be in stock, because I think it is absolutely stunning. But in addition to that, she also has her Melancholy multi-chromes. They're €14.95 each, or you can get the bundle of 4 for €49.95. So they come in the shades Grim Geranium, Mopey Milkweed, Fickle Forget-Me-Not, and Distressed Daisy. And I mean, shut the front door. Look at how gorgeous they are. Now, here's the thing. Full disclosure, I'm terrible with pigments. Not as in like I'm terrible with using them, like I know how to use them, like I know the mechanics of using them. But again, the tism and the object permanence, I forget that I have them, despite actually literally placing them right next to me on my desk. I need them to talk to me and be like, have you thought about using me today? Apparently not. But the toxic part of me is looking at these going, Teresa, it'll be different this time. It'll be different this time. You'll totally use these. Because when I look at the swatches, when I look at them in the little tubs, I would bathe in them. Not that that's like the way to do things. You probably shouldn't bathe in like multi-chromes, but like there's worse things that I could do. I think this is absolutely stunning. So well done. And it complements the palette really, really well. The last thing that is part of this collection then is the Woeful Wet Liners. They're €8.95 each. And I was kind of going, Jesus, they look huge. Maybe, are they actually that huge? But then you can actually see in the pictures, like, they are the size of the palm of your hand. They are massive. So you're getting a lot of product. There's 3 different styles. You can get the bundle of 3 if you wanted for €22.95. So you're saving quite a bit with that. So there's Grim, which is the pinky lavender and it has silver grey. There's Glum, which is chartreuse and teal, and there's Gloom, which is peach and maroon. So by the way, if you do want to get the entire collection, you can get it for €133.95, so just keep that in mind. But oh my god, those liners, do I need more? No, I don't. I absolutely don't. Shut the fuck up. I said this before, that I think the only thing that they missed out on when they were discussing this was kind of mixing the shades together to get that third shade that you would get out of it. However, are all in all pictured so well. You can see like the opacity with them, how they perform across a variety of skin tones. I mean, this is just so well thought out. Like, this is the brand that you can see. It's run by somebody who not only understands makeup, but they have a passion for it. Yes, this is a business, right? She wants to make a profit. Who doesn't? Who's sitting down here kind of going, I want to do a charity? No, you're not doing a charity with makeup. But I have to say, she's kept the cost down pretty good. Like, no major complaints for me. Like, there is a massive overhead on things like this. I am very impressed with everything together. I mean, like I said, if you wanted to get all of them together, the 3 liners, the 4 pigments, the 1 eyeshadow palette, that's €133.95. That's not bad at all. I find that quite impressive. I just think there's not really anything that I can say negatively on this. I think it was just such a cohesive collection. It was so well thought out. Again, you can see that this is somebody who actually cares about the products. They're not like, oh, I don't care, I'll just release something substandard and hopefully I'll make a, you know, buck on that. I'll put it into whatever. This is somebody who actually cares about stuff, who's testing and checking the quality. And I gotta say, this speaks to me, and it spoke to you guys. The palette, you guys loved it. 51% said love it. 21% said that you were on a no or a low buy. The liners did pretty well, all things considered. Let's be real, we don't get wildly excited about that. 18% of you said love it. 11% said you were on a no or a low buy. And the pigments, shut up lads, a bunch of us loved these. 40% said love it, and 13% said that you were on a no or a low buy. So all in all, an extremely successful launch. So these next couple of releases are ones that I didn't get to put to you guys in shorts, but there are some interesting ones. The first one was Huda Beauty and their Creamy Obsessions eyeshadow palette. There's 2 versions that are going to come out. There's greige and there's neutral brown. So they've kind of put the pictures up on their website. They aren't available for purchase right there at the moment, and Cult Beauty have already started to put up their links to it. Again, not available there. I am disgusting, and as usual, we'll have affiliate links down below. Anything with an asterisk means it's affiliated, blah blah blah. Anyways, this is going to be retailing for €32. It's going to be coming sometime soon. I really like the look of these. I think it's really smart that they have like a cream based formula, and what I think is quite interesting about Huda is I can look at any of her palettes, and without looking at the outside, without seeing any of the branding, I will know that it's a Huda Beauty palette. And that says a huge amount about their brand recognition. Like, so many brands pay so much to have brand recognition. But the fact that I can look at the inside of that palette and go, oh, that's a Huda Beauty palette, I know it straight away. I've said before that I'm like, I wish you'd kind of go away from certain tones, but do you know what? I'm not going to give out to her on this because she likes what she likes. She's staying true to herself. I respect that. You know, why ask somebody to change? I think what's very, very smart here is the diversification when it comes to the actual formulas. I think these of the cream along with the matte shadows, like they're saying one can be used as a base and the other one can be used to set. I am extremely interested in these. I think they look absolutely stunning. There's something about this that's bringing me back to the 90s in the best way. Yeah, there's nothing negative really that I can say about this, other than I think, you know, the cream shadows, it's a pity that there isn't like something there to kind of protect them from drying out, but that's just me. I kind of feel like this is what the Danessa Myricks Groundwork palette kind of needed to be. I mean, we'll see how it performs, but it looks nice. The kind of neutral, the warm neutral is a little bit too warm for me. I'm like, okay, it doesn't 100% link in with my particular passions, but that's totally fine. I suspect it'd look fabulous. I love that they have like a cream black in there. That'll be fantastic for doing like eyeliner, etc. I mean, the greige. Yes, I know it's very pinky purpley toned, but my goodness, absolutely love it. And can I also say, actually, Huda, because obviously we're besties, you know me so well. If she took the tones from each of these palettes, and my friend Daniela said this, and I totally agree, I'm just stealing her thought and I'm shoving it in here, but I am giving her credit for this. If she took the shades from this palette, or both of these palettes, and made them into lipsticks and lip liners, oh my god, I mean, like obviously not the silver ones or whatever, but you know know what I'm talking about, the mattes, etc. Wouldn't they be stunning? Or is it just me? Am I out here on my own? Because I think some of these, like particularly the taupey ones, because I am on a mission at the moment, I think these look beautiful. €32. It's not too bad. It's pretty much in line with her previous palettes. Oh, I don't always buy her £9 palettes because I sometimes find that the formula changes a little bit between the £9 palettes and the larger palettes. And I'm surprised, honestly, that this has me interested. But I do like the look of it. I think it is genuinely quite intriguing. Again, it's so clear that it's her. Kudos. Kudos. I think it's really, really interesting. I think that once this gets to boots, I will consider getting the greyish one. Not the neutral one, the greyish one. Let us be 100% clear on that. I think it's really interesting as well that they've provided a picture to show you like which ones are creams and which ones are mattes. But it looks like they don't have like 100% mattes either. Like there's a few shimmers in there. So it's definitely, they're very diverse palettes for what you're getting in there. Like there's 3 different formulas in them. So that's, I quite like that. Well done to her. This next one, my goodness, oh my god, I am furious but also really, really want this. Part of why I'm furious is Nabla cosmetics are not as easy to get as they once were. You used to be able to get them on Beauty Bay. Now, good luck to you. You have to kind of go through Nabla cosmetics themselves, but look at this. You cannot tell me this is not sheer perfection. I want this. This is again on my desire list. Oh, such a creepy list. This is the Forget Me Not palette. Now, over on Nabla, what you can do is you can get like the palette itself, like the empty palette, for €10. And you don't have to get these 4 shades. These are just 4 new shades. This is a new empty palette. And you can fill it with whatever. You can twist it around. You can change where you've put these things. That's not a big deal. But I would actually just buy this as it is. I love the outside of the palette. Like, it's so cute, that lavender. I love the shades here. Absolutely gorgeous. So the empty palette itself is €10. There's these new shades of glitters and mattes and sort of metallic shadows. So there's Ozonic, which is €8.90, and that's a transparent base glitter with aqua and lilac reflex. And my goodness, when you see it on the eye, it is gorgeous. And I will say, I've heard such good things about Nabla and their glitter formula. I haven't tried it myself because by the time I started to get interested in it, they weren't as easy to get, but they're still like, I still look at them and think, I want you, because for whatever reason, apparently I'm very glittery these days. Then there's the shade Iris, which is again another glitter. This is €8.90. It's a vivid purple chunky glitter. So this is much less fine than the other one. It has an indigo electric blue reflect. So again, you know, you could choose between these. You could go with something else. They've shown them on the eye so that you can get a really good idea of them. So even though that shade is more chunky, there is like little fine particles in there as well. There's Saffron Flower, which is €7.90, and it's a vivid lilac matte. Oh my god, absolutely stunning. Do I need it? No, I don't, because I have quite a few really, really good matte lilac formulas. Like for instance, the Beauty Bay Metamorphic palette had a fantastic lilac lavender shade in it, and I really, really enjoyed that. Then there's Hortensia, which is €8.90. It's a denim, so it's very, very metallic-y, and I have to say it does look exactly like denim. There's a little bit of glitter in there, nothing major. It's more shimmery than glittery. Oh, ho, ho. I think this is just curated so well. So beautiful. Like, I wouldn't actually kind of go, oh, I'd take that out or I'd put this in instead. I think this is so, so, so well done. I am, like I said, just annoyed that Nabla are not easy to get anymore, but all in all, absolutely stunning. Like, it would be crazy expensive to get everything together because, like, I mean, we're talking about the 2 glitters are what, oh my god, fast math, €17.80, then plus €7.90, that's €25.70 plus €8.90. Oh my god, I'm really putting myself under pressure here. I had like 30 something euro plus the €10, so we're talking about like 40 something euro. We'll just say 45 because I've gotten stressed trying to do maths while on camera. And for me, €45 is just a little bit too much for a quad. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, like if it was like 30 something, then I'd be like, take my money, take it, no questions asked. What could have been if I was a rich person is all I can say. I think it is beautiful. Then we have Too Faced, and this is a new product, but part of what I find really interesting is it's like a limited release. They only have so many of these, and basically what they're trying to do is they have their new Fantasy Factory program and they've said it's a Too Faced version of MAC Underground. What? I mean, I do find it quite funny that they're actually now trying to dupe other brands. And can I also say that the product in and of itself, it's called Disco Crush Eye and Face Sparkle. Does it look like Moon Dust by Urban Decay? Yes, it does. They saw how everyone got absolutely bananas over that over the last while. And according to Too Faced, it's the most innovative glitter formula you've ever tried. Now, if you were to, by the way, believe Jared Blandino, now he doesn't have anything to do with Too Faced anymore. He now has Impolite Society, which feels very correct for him. He invented glitter shadows. You didn't, Jared. There's loads of evidence to show that you didn't. It looks interesting. It does. They say it should also feel weightless. I don't like the use of the word should. It should, but it may not. Who knows? It's open to interpretation. Yeah, they said that there will probably be 3 to 4 products launched via the Fantasy Factory program in the year. I don't know. This is already available, by the way, in the Too Faced shop as you're watching. It doesn't really appeal to me. I did recently get the Urban Decay Moon Dust palette, so I feel like there's one shade in that would very, very easily dupe it. So for me, this just seems very strange. Them doing a limited drop. I think it's maybe them trying to revamp themselves, because MAC have rather successfully, I think, revamped themselves over the last while. They're getting it a little bit more popular. They definitely had a dip. They're coming back up, and Too Faced have definitely had their dip, and they're trying to come back up, and now they're kind of looking over at MAC and kind of, what did you do? We'll try and do this. I don't know. It's strange, but there's also bits of it that kind of almost makes me think of Fenty's Diamond Glow, and not in the formula, just in the packaging itself because of that shape. But it's not for me. I don't love Too Faced. I don't hate Too Faced. I have a few Too Faced things. Who knew I would say Too Faced this often? Definitely not me. But I don't think that they're usually worth the price. You know, if you can get them on sale, fantastic. But I don't know. Then we have LYS Beauty, and I have to say, the more I see from this brand, the more I tend to be intrigued. They have some new cream glow blush sticks. So they're not just like a cream blush, there's a little bit of like a highlight in them. So there's 7 shades, they're $20 each. They say that this was made for all skin types, including dry skin, mature skin, etc. Now, as soon as something says that it's ready and usable for mature skin types, I'm like, I am interested, because there's probably, you know, a little bit more thought gone into this, because anything that is just made for like young skin, I'm like, we can put cocoa powder on you as a contour and it's still gonna look lovely. Try it on my skin and let's see how this looks. I think this is definitely very interesting. It's an easy to blend vegan blush stick that blesses skin. What an interesting word to use. With an instant pop of colour and wearable luminosity that brings life to the makeup look. I do think it looks really pretty. There's something about this as well that kind of is giving me, you know how Patrick Starr came out with his One Size blush last week, which is over in Sephora UK at the moment, and I've popped it into my basket for payday. Stupid Teresa. But the shades 1 and 2, which are unfazed and outgoing, oh, don't they look gorgeous? They look like they're kind of like in line with that palette. There's a lot of like hot pinks in there. I can see where they could potentially expand on this. Like, it's very, very pink magenta heavy for the moment, but it's looking really, really nice. Apparently there's green tea extract, which is meant to soothe and hydrate skin while reducing the appearance of redness. There's watermelon seed extract, which helps to retain the skin's moisture levels for visibly radiant, healthier looking skin. And there's rose hip oil. Now, I do like rose hip oil because I find that's really, really great if your skin is in any way dry. It helps to really repair that. So I have to say, I think that's quite interesting. And they've shown across a diversity of skin tones, which, thank you, fantastic. They all look so, so beautiful. As I said, I'm looking forward to them kind of expanding on this and bringing in some more shades. There's definitely a few that really grab my attention, but they look very, very pretty. Like, I like that shade Curvy. There's a little bit of more of like an orangey, like touched by the sun type thing. Unfazed. Can we talk about how absolutely gorgeous that looks on the deeper skin? I mean, it's not for us pale gals, you know, we're all right. Maybe take that out of your basket, Teresa. But oh my goodness, it makes them look like utter goddesses. They've obviously applied quite a bit of the product, so you can actually see what it looks like. I assume that they would want to tone it down a little bit. For me, it's probably a little bit too much. I know, sacrilege, Teresa, saying that it's too much blush, but I mean, I've said it, it's out there, it's in the universe. Courageous, I feel, would work quite well for me, but again, it's showing up on darker skin tones as well, so it does show that it builds up quite well, so I'm pretty intrigued. Focused is beautiful as well. All the models are giving, like they all look stunning. How dare they? So $20, like that is not bad at all. They've kind of kept with their whole thing of like, we do things in triangles, and I'm like, do you know what, that used to bug me, but now I'm with you, LYS. I'm with you. I haven't tried anything from LYS. I really want to though. They're definitely on my list. I don't know if this would be the thing that I'm going to be like, oh, I'll get this one, but I'm for sure intrigued. Then this next one, I thought this was interesting and nobody seemed to be talking about this. Do you remember how Marc Jacobs Beauty went and then they said that they were coming back and they're meant to be coming back sometime in 2025? Now, it's not clear as to whether it's at the beginning of 2025 or at the end of 2025. I suspect more towards the end because it's going to take a while to get things like through like quality assurance, etc. But this is like they haven't even re-released stuff, but this is Pat McGrath and Marc Jacobs Beauty. I know. So this is 40 years of Marc Jacobs friends and collaborations past and present have been invited to reimagine their favourite piece from Marc's universe in limited edition drops. And this one is their matte trance lipstick Marc Jacobs edition. I mean, it's quite interesting. It's a red, lads, so you know my feelings on this. I don't know when it's coming out, but quite interesting. The packaging, fabulous. You can see the hybrid there of Marc Jacobs and obviously Pat McGrath's like little weird lips on her lipsticks. This is kind of looks a bit iconic. Maybe I'm losing my mind, but I think this is quite interesting. But quite interesting as well that we're seeing that this is the first thing back from Marc Jacobs, but it technically isn't Marc Jacobs, but also is. But it's a collaboration. I don't know. I'm very confused. Interesting for sure. And this just kind of dropped today in terms of like, not quite a sneak peek because we now know the whole thing. This is Patrick Ta Beauty. So we're having some new major headlines double take creme and powder blush duos. There's Just Enough, which is a soft pink with blue undertones. Not Too Much, which is a soft dusty beige. And She's the Moment, which is a soft peachy salmon. They're $38 each. I really enjoy their blush duos. I think they're really, really interesting. And I know that Patrick says put on the powder first and then put on the balm, put on the cream afterwards, and I'm like, I don't know, I should trust you, but I'm a creature of habit, so I actually need to try using his products in the way that he's explained, because that's just me being a very bad consumer. These shades are definitely very, very interesting. But he's also coming out with some lip glosses. This is the Major Volume Rich Plumping Lip Gloss. Why are they all plumping? So are we not okay with my lips being scrawny little bastards? No, you must be vibrant and plump, but not in your waistline, Teresa, not in your waistline. This is $26. Lads, do you remember when you could get a lip gloss for €6? Oh my god. I don't know if just things are getting more expensive or I'm like getting to that point in my life where I'm kind of going, back in my day. And I feel like it's maybe a mixture of the two. I don't know. But they have quite a few shades in that. There's 5 shades in all. There's Say Less, which is a milky pink. Need Her, a soft blush. Obviously, which is a toffee. Mine, dark chocolate. And Want Her, which is a deep wine. I mean, they look nice. I do find it interesting that they correspond more with the pinky toned blush, but obviously they'll be looking to expand upon that. It looks very, very pretty. Anything I have from Patrick Ta, I've really ended up enjoying. I still want to get that Major Dimensions 3, the very, very neutral palette. I know, don't shush, don't question me. I have a lot of issues, but it's on my want list, and if I see it go on sale, I'll get it at some point. Yeah, I'm definitely intrigued by this. I think as well that some of these pinks kind of correspond a little bit with his limited edition holiday collection. So I think that's quite smart, kind of bringing those back up again. Very pretty. I think the lip glosses are probably the bits that I'm not that interested in, because I have a bunch of lip glosses and I'm just like, nah, I am not paying that much for a lip gloss on principle. I just won't. This next one, right, I talked about Dolce and Gabbana, was it last week or the week before? What a 180, right? We were talking about like neutral blah 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 with leopard skin, which weird. This is Dolce and Gabbana and their Bold Look collection. So it includes this I Dare You palette for £74. I have to say a massive thank you to Makeup on Your Radar. They sent me the information on this just before I went and sat down to actually film this, and I was like, what on earth? The inside of the palette reminds me a little bit of when Fenty did their, was it Space or spice. Maybe it was extra spice. Do you remember the palette and it had the diagonal weird pans? It reminds me of that. But they have it made so that it looks like it's like a little keychain, but it's not a little keychain. It's absolutely huge. It's £74 and I kind of can't believe that it came from them. It's kind of interesting. Like, would I pay £74 for that? No. What a weird way to swatch it as well on the bicep. I mean, fair enough. I think maybe I'm just very self-conscious of my bingo wings and I'm like, I could never book. Can I just say Dolce & Gabbana, prime real estate here. Like, look at all of that. You could swatch all night on these. I do like that there's like a shade there that has an actual shift to it, but I don't know if it's just because the shade itself in the pan is like half gold and half like this red, and maybe they've just swatched it in that way. I don't know. They look like they've swatched well, but I'd like to know how many passes they did on that. £74, very, very expensive. But they also then have these That's My Line liners in 6 shades. They're £28 each. But look at the colours. They're colouring. Colourful colours. I like these. What's going on? There's something about this that is giving me Barry M. And I say this with actual like kudos, because I like Barry M. I think they're always like a little bit fun, a little bit like innovative. And oh, that green. No, Teresa, you don't need it. You literally just put away all of your eyeliners. You don't need more. I don't think I would pay £28 for this sort of liner. However, if somebody told me that it wears really, really well, it doesn't budge, that it's pigmented, I would for sure think about it. This is really interesting. Like, Dolce & Gabbana actually giving us something different. I'm here for it because I give out to these brands regularly for just kind of like doing the same old copy and paste. But this feels a bit fresh, still too expensive, but like, I mean, that's the brand. They're a luxury brand. They're not going to be like, here's our €3 lip gloss. Everyone will be like, you're not a luxury brand anymore. Fair. That is what it is. I don't think it's bad. I'm kind of interested. Do you know, if I went into a shop and these were there and I could swatch them, I'd like to see what the story is myself. And the very last thing that we're talking about is this collaboration between Smashbox and the absolute icon that is Pamela Anderson. And it seems that basically they're doing their original photo finish primer, but they're kind of collaborating with her. It's a little bit odd. I don't really know why they're doing that. Obviously Smashbox came to fame with their photo finish primer. A lot of people really liked it. This is kind of like a little bit of a moot point for us here in Europe because we can't fucking get it. We can't get Smashbox. I love Pamela. I think this is a little bit strange though, because she's taken to not wearing makeup these days. Like, she turned up at the Cannes Film Festival without any makeup. I mean, if she wants to wear makeup, that's fine. It's just a little bit of an odd move, and she's also meant to be doing a skincare line. Now, frankly, I adore Pamela Anderson. I think she is iconic. I love her. I want to be her when I grow up. So I think this is not a bad one. It's just it's a little bit strange as like a collab, and I'm not really sure, is it that she's the face of it, or is it like a special promotion? Personally, I don't care that much because I recently read her book, Love Pamela. Amazing, highly recommended. And when you're reading it, you realise just how much of a life she's lived, but also how much she's been screwed over in the past. And like, she really got underpaid for a lot of the stuff that she was doing. And if she's getting a paycheck out of this, fair play. I'm not against it. I'm all for give Pam what she's owed. You know, I think she's fantastic. But my gorgeous friends, that's it. Like I said, we did have a couple of new makeup releases that were worth considering. I didn't get to put all of them to you guys because my week was bananas. I spent 5.5 hours in a car yesterday just driving back and forth from a workshop that I was giving. Anyways, it's a whole thing. You don't need to know. But I know I'm not super consistent. I do try. It's a whole thing. But I do this for fun and to hang out with you guys. But I do have my favourite comment, and this is from the fabulous Janet. She said, I can see you living your best 80s life with that new one size blush. Damn right, Janet. And it's in my basket. I'm currently like trying to talk myself out of it, of like, you don't need it, Trista. You have one home. And then I'm like, maybe I should buy a second home and put the makeup into it. No, I know I have to do a declutter. That's on my list, probably coming into the summer when I have a little bit more time on my hands. Keep an my out for that if you want to declutter. I'm not going to say that I'm going to be brutal, but I'll definitely, I'm already eyeballing a few things and I'm like, you can go, you can go, you can go. But my gorgeous friends, Thank you so much for watching. I so appreciate it. To my YouTube members, I need to have a live with you guys soon to just hang out and chat. And I have a couple of new products. I don't know if you guys want me to swatch them for you. Like I said, I have the moon dust, so I can show you what they look like. And just generally chit chat. I'll try and do it on a weekend because I know it's a little bit easier for all of us to hang out. But anyways, that's me nattering on for far too long. Thank you so much for watching. I so appreciate it. Do please like, comment and subscribe. Turn on that notification bell. And do please share, because sharing is caring, except of course for STDs, in which case, just wrap it up. Don't be gross, but that's it. That's the end of the video and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.